We are joined again today by my cat, who has decided to sleep under the blankets this time, and that is what that lump is there, in case you're wondering.
Oh, you heard me talking about you.
I recently did a video talking about the worst purchases that I made in my 20s, and if you haven't seen it, it will be up here or linked down below. And I thought I should also do a video talking about the best purchases I made in my 20s. I feel like there are some stories for a few of these, so this might be kind of a chatty video. And before we get started, shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. So I have this list of purchases here on my laptop, and these are in chronological order, so it's not necessarily in order of like the best purchase to like the not as best purchase. Okay, the first best purchase that I made in my 20s was an iMac computer. It was the first major purchase I had ever made in my life. It was about $2,000, and it was the first thing that I ever financed. I feel kind of nostalgic about this iMac because I purchased it just a few months after I started making YouTube videos. And okay, this is like the YouTube origin story of my channel. I started this YouTube channel the week that I turned 20. It was summer, I was home from college, and I couldn't get a part-time job anywhere because I had to go back to school in the middle of August. Everybody wanted help through Labor Day, so no one would hire me because I couldn't stay long enough. So I was home at my parents' house. Ellie, I'm telling a story right now. So I was home at my parents' house. I was bored. I didn't really have anything to keep me busy, but I'd recently discovered the YouTube beauty community. So I decided I had all this time on my hands. I was just going to start making videos. So I rummaged around my parents' house. I found this old mini DVD camcorder, and I started filming videos in my bedroom, but something about the format of recording to a DVD means that the footage has to be like ripped off and converted to be able to be edited. So I would film a video in my room, and then my dad had a software on his computer that could rip the footage off. So I'm handing him these discs that are of me, like, you know, putting my makeup on for the internet. And then once the files were ripped off, I would pull them into my old, like, super basic HP laptop. And it was such a slow process because my laptop really wasn't designed to do anything other than like write a Word document. So once school started up again and I was back at college and I was back at my part-time job actually making some kind of money, I went into the local Best Buy and I looked at their Apple section, and they were currently offering the 18-month no interest financing on new Apple computers. And so I did the math of how much that would be a month. It was a little over $100, and how many hours was I working, and what other expenses did I have, and would I be able to cover that expense? And I was so nervous because I had never financed anything, and it was a credit card, and I'd never had a credit card. And it was a great purchase for a variety of reasons. One, it actually did what I hoped it would do. It made the whole video creation process so much easier, but also it was a good learning experience for me with financing things and starting a line of credit. And that was the first big purchase of my 20s. Not all of my stories are this long. Great purchase number 2 is this sectional couch behind me. This is a custom sectional from Pottery Barn. I believe the style is the PB Comfort Square, and it was really expensive. It was nearly $4,000, which is a lot of money. I bought this just over 5 years ago when I moved to Seattle, and I had decided that I was going to redo the entire furniture aesthetic of my apartment. I still had kind of mismatched pieces from my college days, and I just wanted something that felt more me. So I decided to splurge and order this sectional from Pottery Barn. And to be honest, when I made the purchase, I was a little concerned that I was making a mistake because it was so expensive. I really liked the look of a lighter colored couch, but I was worried, like, is it going to stain easily? Is it going to be filthy and destroyed in a year? But you know what? I love this couch, and it has been amazing, and it has been so easy to clean. I don't remember what type of fabric this is, but it's like a suede feeling fabric, but it is so stain resistant. Like, I swear, like, I have gotten drops of wine on this, and a wet washcloth will just take it right out. Like, nothing stains this fabric. It's crazy. It's held up so well. It's been through, I think, 3 moves now, and it's like not broken or anything, and it's just so comfy. It's deep and it's plush, and it's like, it's comfy to sleep on, it's comfy to lounge on. I mean, it was still expensive. Like, you don't need to spend nearly $4,000 on a couch to get a great couch, but it's not an expense that like I regret because I have really enjoyed this couch. The next best purchase of my 20s has been the Patagonia Trace 3-in-1 parka. After tax, this coat cost me over $600, which is insane. I think it's the most expensive piece of clothing I've ever purchased, if you don't count the Chloe bag that I mentioned in my worst purchases video. Part of why this coat is so expensive or so special is it also comes with a puffy insulated liner that I usually don't actually wear with it that often because it's not quite cold enough in Seattle. So you can wear just the puffy liner, or you can wear both of them together, or you can wear this, which is why you get like the 3-in-1 name. And like I said earlier, I moved to Seattle a little over 5 years ago, and the first 2 winters that I was here, I refused to invest in a good, like actual waterproof raincoat. And I'd had my eye on this coat and really wanted it, but it was so expensive and I was like, I can't justify a purchase like that. But I got to my 3rd fall going into winter here in Seattle and I just cracked and was like, I live here now and I need a raincoat. So I walked into Patagonia downtown and I dropped $600+ on this coat, and it has since become one of the most worn clothing items I've ever had. I wear it all winter long. And I feel like the investment in a good raincoat when you live in Seattle is like investing in a good pair of snow boots if you live in the Midwest. It's one of those things that if you're going to live here, it's going to get a lot of use and it's probably not gonna be money wasted. The next best purchase of my 20s was a haircut, and it wasn't necessarily the haircut itself, but it was the symbolism of the haircut. If you followed my videos for a long time, you probably remember that my hair used to always be pretty long, and I always wanted to chop it all off. Specifically, I wanted to chop it like Julianne Hough's hair in Safe Haven. When I saw that movie, I was like, that is the like freshest, nicest hairstyle I've ever seen. But I told myself I wouldn't be able to pull it off, that I didn't have the face for it. I felt like because I have a rounder face, I thought like I need to keep my hair long because then like the balance of like the lines going this way will balance out the roundness up here, I guess. And then a couple years ago, something just changed and I was like, why don't you just cut it? And then worst case scenario, it looks terrible and you can grow it back out and never do it again. So I made the appointment, I went in, and it turns out that I love having shorter hair. I actually feel so much more myself with my hair more at this length. And they say that when a woman makes a big change to her hair, it signifies a big change happening in her life. And I didn't realize it at the time, but me letting go of the fear of the hairstyle being terrible and the decision to stop telling myself something won't work out before I've even tried it was the beginning of a really big change in my life, which leads me to my next best purchase of my 20s. The plane ticket for my first solo trip, which was to Iceland. A few months after the haircut, I was sitting on this very couch. It was New Year's Eve, and I was thinking about the year ahead and where my life was going, and I actually talked all about this story in my Why I Started Solo Traveling videos, so I will link that down below or up here if you want to go hear the full story. But sitting here, I had an epiphany about solo traveling and decided that I had to start doing it, and I booked a plane ticket to Iceland. And I still remember that feeling of after I clicked the like purchase flights button and I got the confirmation and my flights were booked, and I just sat on this couch and I kind of sat in disbelief of like, did I just do that? I bought the tickets, now I have to go. Like, this is happening, whether or not it feels real. Like, you have done this. You have just bought tickets to go to Iceland by yourself. And what I didn't realize at the time was buying that plane ticket to Iceland was the beginning of an entirely new chapter in my life, full of travel adventures that I had always dreamed of. The last couple of years since I booked that ticket have been filled with so many amazing experiences, and they've all been a domino effect off of the decision that I made that day. And I can't even imagine what the last 2 years of my life would have been like if I hadn't bought that ticket. What would I have filled that time with, and how would I be feeling about my life? Because I always felt like travel was something I really wanted to do more of and something that I was missing. So that plane ticket to Iceland was not only one of the best purchases of my 20s, it will be without a doubt one of the best purchases of my entire life. So those are some of the best purchases I made in my 20s. I feel like the good purchases are much more sentimental just sitting here talking about them. I would love to know what some of the best purchases you've made have been and why they were so great. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell so you know when new videos are posted. And before I go, let's talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace. I use Squarespace to run my blog and I love it. It's so easy. They have so many beautiful layouts to choose from that display photos really nicely. And the analytics tools are super helpful to get feedback about your site, like how people are finding it, where in the world they're visiting from. So head over to squarespace.com to sign up for a free trial. And then once you have designed your site and it's ready to go, visit squarespace.com/allisonanderson to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I hope you guys are having a great day and I will see you in the next one. Bye.